You have it, don't you? You know what that does to you. You know how it can change you.
If that thing gets control over you, gutting is still an option. Got me?
This city is going to be ours. Just wait and see.
When this is said and done, who will the people remember as their savior?
Search party! Where is MJ?
MJ? I don't understand. Maybe a secondary rendezvous. But Bravo 6.
Show me!
Let's go.
MJ, I was so worried.
Damn it!
You best play it cool, man.
Is it really you this time?
Come on, we gotta go.
Look, I promise I won't use it
You
again.
promise? We are way past that.
We ain't got time for this.
Oh no, get away. Get away!
Come on.
Don't do it! Just come with me!
chain.
Peter?
It started just like this. 4 days ago. Fighting to breathe. To survive.
Harker.
Venom! That morning, everything changed.
I'm feeling hungry.
No! Eddie!
What?
No!
No!
Venom, get ready for a world of pain. Ah!
You dare to take me.
Brock, look at me when I talk to you. And before you could say friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, I'm in the middle of a gang war. Good times. MJ was getting her arm in a cast, and I was feeling lousy for not being by her side. But if she knew I was ignoring what was going on in the streets, she would have kicked me back out the door.
So what brings... Good job, Spot. X.
Got the informant. Now where are the bad guys?
Good job, Spot.
Okay.
Wait, expect.
How do you...
Okay, little dude, wait here. Go for it. There you go. Ready? Go. Again. You got some moves, I give you that. I'm not gonna hold back anymore, though. Let's go. Go for it. Take it easy. I'm trying to help you. Not so hard, man. Go for it. Save it for the bad guys. Ready? Go. Okay. You doing good? Nice going. You have the perfect skill for stopping the extortion racket these gangs have been running.
I do?
These thugs will stand in front of every door on the street, intimidating the good folks that live there into paying protection money.
Now that's just mean.
But you could use your speed to hit one after another, jumping from one guy to the next.
I'll give it a try.
Or you can start right here with these fools. Hit them in the chain of those web attacks. I knew you could do it. I got another group for you.
Show me where.
That is working. Another group just showed up. 7 of them this time. Spidey, You might be the answer to my problems. With all this pressure on the gangs, you back on? All right. This corner is infamous for gang trouble.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
Get a runner start to swing, then take them out with one big swinging kick. Now, if they spot you, they're gonna try to run, so be fast. That is working for you, Spidey. Think you can do it again?
But of course.
Good. I have another bunch of hoods. Looks like they have a lookout this time, so take them out fast. All right. Now, this is a big group, and they have more than one lookout. Just move fast and aim that swing carefully, and you should be able to take them all out in one shot. Nice move, Spidey.
I always strive for efficiency in my superhero-ness.
Right. Anyway, take out any group of thugs you find in the same way. Catch them all with one swing kick. It's a beautiful thing, baby. Now come see me when you cleaned up these street corners. You back already?
And what are we doing to deserve this?
Well, I...
Cage. Every hero I ever met just used me for a punching bag.
We had a deal.
I gotta do what I gotta do. With or without me, my crew is taking down the Sevens!
I said no guns. You were played.
The armor on those assassins in the park meant they were from a well-financed organization. I thought I would start with the richest crime boss in town and work my way down. That meant Mr. Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. I decided to head for the Fisk building, take a look around, and then see MJ in the morning. Of course, in my life, nothing seems to go as planned. The stylish headquarters of the fattest man in crime. Hey, crazy woman! Don't pretend you don't know I'm talking to you!
I can never get enough of my little Spidey man.
Okay, Felicia, please, just stop. Please. Come on.
Make me.
Please, Felicia, give it a rest. Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. I must be seen.
It's Spider-Man!
Who are you? on here? Are you actually working for Mr. Monster Butt? What did you steal?
Oh, this? My friend, get it. You want to know what I want? I want you, Spider-Man.
Oh, what's the matter? You know how to give it, but you don't know how to take it?
I can take it.
Oh, goody, another round to kick the spider.
Come on. You know you love this as much as I do.
Well, I think I've had my fill of psychotic kitty cats.
You never know what this might lead.
No, I think you love it more.
Luke, one way you'll ever find out. Come on.
I bet it's something I've never mentioned in front of my aunt.
I can never get enough another Spider-Man.
Consider yourself lucky to still be in one piece.
Don't tell me. You're so mad. Oh, you're finally starting to get to me.
I'm beginning to think you're not exactly normal, are you?
And you are? Look at that outfit you're wearing.
How long are you gonna keep this up? Why don't you quit while you're still ahead?
So you admit it. I'm ahead.
Are you okay? I told you to lay off. Cat! Gotcha! Felicia, what now? She's such a pathetic machine. Felicia, you in there? Ooh, kitty, kitty, kitty.
I'm right here, you idiot.
So, are you okay? I'm not sure what's going on.
Look, I'm a screw-up, okay?
You think? You do a heist for Kingpin, try to kill me.
I was working from the inside. I got in over my head and I couldn't get out of it, and then you show up way too early and I get this huge rush from seeing you.
You attacked me. And what do you mean I showed up early?
I was doing it for you. So you would see that we were made for each other.
Ooh. I'm sorry. I had no idea you still felt like that.
Really? Well, guess what? I do. I still love you. Look at us, wearing these stupid masks. Who are we really? We have all these powers and act like we're ashamed of them. Be with me. Together we can be whatever we want. Free from want, free from responsibility, free to have fun. You do like fun, don't you?
You're right.
So, you... Okay.
waking up.
That can...
It's the courthouse. Clever, using the bugle as a false lead.
Fire! Keep them busy! They're surrounding the building!
Heads up! I got a live one! Nothing relaxes me like carrying a bomb around in a gunfight. Heads up! I got a live one! Thanks, fellas. I got a bang out of that. Sorry. I can't help it sometimes. Heads up! I got a live one! Don't shoot the superhero, thank you very much!
Relax. That's
Nice to see.
About time you idiots showed up! Engage him at once!
Trying to fly away, little bird? Again, Vulture. Okay.
Hey there, Spot.
Well,
I.
is this your crash pad? I get it. Nice pad! Are the guns included? Ah, you're being evicted. You guys are the worst neighbors ever. Neighbors complain. Party's over. The other tenants have been complaining about all the noise.
Jump up! Help me out here! Get him off of me! Surrounded! Hit him with everything we got! Can't handle this!
Hi, you're being evicted. Who are these guys? This doesn't doesn't make any sense. What is wrong with you people? Who are these guys?
Well, you've... Oh, I'm glad you...
I didn't like the way things were starting to turn. What if what happened between me and Venom, what if that spread? Maybe the symbiotes were everywhere. Maybe it was my fault. No, it was Venom's fault. Either way, I had to find out what was happening. I sense something with...
What are your parents' names?
Shut up and fight!
Wrong answer. Whose killers did we track in Berlin?
No more questions!
You're not funny. Hold on, bub. Where did you first wear the black suit?
Not your business.
Don't push me, bub. Who declined joining the new Avengers?
Enough talk!
You're getting nowhere. Here we go again. What is critical mass?
Describes Kingpin pretty well.
You're a real wise guy. Who served us roast and pie?
Let's end this.
You're making this worse. I think I... I smell one. Try that black suit of yours. Find a way to see them without being seen yourself.
The symbiotes must sense one another. I think they're reacting. I guess they're not good drivers.
I can tell there's at least one critter right here. Find him. They detected you. Good job.
Oh, what? This has got to go. Ah, this goo will wash off. Yeah, get rid of every one of these, whatever they are. idea how many of these pods Venom had made, or how he did it, but I knew I had to stop him from pulling any more people into them. Little demon spot everywhere. Didn't take long for the authorities to show up and really make a mess of things.
Bad in her life.
Who are you yelling about? What are you doing? I have to stop him.
Alone! You can't stop me! Can't stop me!
Electro, what are you doing?
I'll make you pay, I swear!
I can't keep up with him.
This whole town till I find her!
This has got to stop. I'm gonna take you down, Electro.
You just don't get it. Hurt you, man.
Why won't you just give up?
You can't just round people up like sheep. Enough. Let's end this right here, right now. Now!
Time to knock some sense into you. Why are you so flipped out?
Agent Carter gets at me. You're part of it!
I'm your friendly neighborhood. Never mind. Don't you prove it? I'm making any...
Shield! Took everyone in the building!
Electro, you've got to understand.
I understand everything! I did my duty! It's not enough!
Move in. Target neutralized.
You didn't have to shoot him.
You answer my questions, mister.
Max! Max! That's my brother!
I have news footage of you.
Let go! He's my brother!
No!
You are under arrest.
S.H.I.E.L.D. had come to the rescue, thrown the city into a panic. Ugh. Everybody was on my tail, and no one knew that the real problem was Venom. Well, no one but me.
Peter, where are you?
MJ, are you with Luke?
Yeah, I'm fine, but Peter, they're closing the whole city. The cops just told us.
What do you mean, closing?
All the bridges, tunnels, no one leaves, no one gets in. What is happening, Peter?
S.H.I.E.L.D. thinks it's a disease. It's Venom. The thing, it's reproducing.
Is it? Peter, are you?
I'm fine. I'm the same. But I don't know how to stop this.
Peter, you know more about this than anyone. If anyone can do this, it's you.
Mary Jane, I'm so sorry about everything.
Do what you have to do. I believe in you, Peter.
I'm gonna check out one of these bridge closures.
I'm okay. Just come back to me.
I always do. Oh, I'll try Richards first.
Spider-Man, you realize that cell phones are not secure?
Of course it does. A clever way to call for help, young man.
No, actually...
Don't do it.
You have the right idea.
You'll be a criminal.
You'll save the city.
Hey! You want to do the right thing?
It's not that simple.
Of course
Hey! Rikers! It's an island! I need to fly over there. Volunteers? Rikers Island.
Good luck, Spider-Man.
What is he doing? Stop him! System failure. System failure. Emergency protocol. Increasing force authorized.
I'm blowing this joint.
Sure about that, big guy? There's no button in there, Rhino. It's over here. That's why it's called maximum security.
Give me a hand, you shrimp.
All right, but I'm gonna need your help later.
What?
We made it.
The Widow had agreed to give the Tinkerer a chance to come up with a way to stop the symbiotes. Little did we know that her superiors did not share the same sense of optimism.
It would seem the cavalry has arrived.
What are they doing?
What idiots in authority always do.
What are they doing? This is nuts!
Perhaps sealing the city might stop it from spreading.
Except, us now.
What? Well done.
It's just me in here, so I can't be driving and shooting at the same time. So get up there and clean them out. Looks like we got 5 of them up ahead. Ooh, it's showtime, Spidey. Bring the hurt. Let's keep it up. Now let's see how they handle a few rounds of all. Help! Is anybody out there? Please
I'll be
help
back,
us.
lover.
This is SHIELD, APC, Tango Charlie. We received you. What's your situation?
We're holed up in here. There's a swarm of those crazy things just to the northeast.
No problem. We'll take care of them. Get ready to run out as soon as we clear the swarm. Another horde coming in the front. of stranded civilians. Come help me. Whoa! God's up! Let's go, Spidey! Get him, Spidey! That's all of them here. Let's go find some more. Let's go save some more civilians, Spider-Man.
Help us, please! Somebody help!
You hear that, Spidey? Stand... Time to do what you do best, man. All right, no wasting time. Let's go find more. Spidey, let's you and me go for a ride and find some civilians to save. Got some humans on screen. Let's get them. All right, Spidey, get them. nearby. Stay close.
You are not... for...
Here is my plan.
You are not...
back up.
I should go check and see if the stories about the electro symbiotes are true. Shocking, isn't it? Oh yeah, I went there. Those pods are more trouble than they're worth. To make sense? Yeah. Electro! You
Did it, Spot.
What? You...
This is SHIELD APC 019er. We see you down there, Spidey. Protect those civilians in the park until we can land, and then we'll work together to get them to safety. Here comes the cavalry. Sit tight, folks. We'll be right with you. Let's get it moving. There's more symbiotes.
We must work together, Spider-Man.
Escort another one over. Spider-Man. Symbiotes are targeting our friendlies. Spidey, the symbiotes are attacking. Stand by, coming down. We got symbiotes in range. Keep them away from the evacuees. Get them over here safe, Spidey. Spidey, get rid of the symbiotes before they get our guys. We got... Bring another one over, Spidey. Spider-Man, looks like we got some more civilians on top of that building, and plenty of symbiotes on their way up. Protect the civilians, and we'll get down there to evac them as soon as we can. This is SHIELD APC 019er. Stand by for landing. Let's get it moving. There's more symbiotes out there. All right, we're ready for another one in here. Ready when you are. Get them over here safe, Spidey. Attack the symbiotes. Okay, last one on this run. Keep it safe, Spidey. That's all we got room for on this run. We'll be back.
I'll be back.
This is SHIELD. Hold tight. We'll get you out of there as soon as we can. Bring another one over, Spidey. Keep up the fight. We'll come right back for everyone else.
There has to be more people holding out on rooftops around here. As long as SHIELD keeps flying, I can rescue more people.
Ready for another load. Send one over. Spider-Man, help us protect him on the way over. Good. Civilian secure. Escort another one over. All right, we're ready for another one in here.
I'm always here for you, man.
Cabin's full. Be be right back.
Fear me, you
Here comes the cavalry. Sit tight, folks. We'll be right with you. Let's do it. We're ready for the next one. Let's get it moving. There's more symbiotes out there. Bring another one over, Spidey. Good. Civilian secured. Escort another one over.
My work here is done.
Spidey, get rid of the symbiotes before they get our guys. We'll drop off this load and come right back.
What?
combat. this area.
Get the engineers back on those barriers. Tell the pilot.
Attention. This is Chief. Do not be alarmed. Stay in your homes until the next problem.
pointless. Never would have.
You almost look like a professional. Yeah! Show those things who real Spider-Man is. We got some new creepy crawlers coming up the
That's it.
We got
all aboard.
Come on, Spider Kid. Let's see what you can do against someone who knows how to fight.
Wolverine, no! You've got to get that thing off of you!
This ain't over by a mile.
Good. I'm not done beating on you yet.
got some nerve coming down.
under attack and requires repair. Repeat, third safe zone is under attack. Spider-Man, leave the convoy and move up to the third safe zone. Defend the area until it can be repaired. Then return to your assignment.
Get 'em all!
Felicia. Somewhere inside that symbiote is Black Cat. Getting close by now.
There you are, my love.
Felicia! You need to fight that thing! You need to...
I've... missed you.
Very sweet and crazy, maybe scary. But you need...
That's not nice.
Nice? You become a monster and trying to eat my face!
Just... little love nip.
Felicia, while I admit you have a lovely new singing voice, everything else the symbiote does for you, it's really unattractive.
You don't like me anymore? Fine, I'll snap your... That's it. I need...
Cat, talk to me.
I screw up.
No, easy.
I'm so sorry. I can't help. Stop. Venom.
Felicia! Felicia!
Hurry! Yes, your money.
Supposed to be one of us.
I may share a fashion sense, but that's as close as I get. I have this black suit.
I will steal the skin from your bones if you continue to resist.
I can't believe I'm spending a Friday night with an old man dressed...
Your friends will be of no help to you.
Man, this is the weirdest
You think this will really stop Venom? He is far too powerful for Tinker's little toy to hurt him. Set it off, and your power will be gone. Gone forever. Remove the detonator. Embrace the power the Dark One gives you.
You're right about one thing, old man. This is about me and him.
Spider-Man, what are you doing?
I'm gonna end this once and for all. I spared him 4 days ago, but not today. Today, Venom dies.
Spider-Man, I knew all along that you could not. Venom? He's on board the helicarrier.
Nice move, Eddie. All right, you old buzzard, get me up to that helicarrier right now.
Look at them all. just detonate the bomb.
Nice trick. He's not staying down. Maybe we can get some help from the inside.
Brock! Eddie! Eddie, I want to talk to you, the real Venom! Come on, Eddie. Look at what you've become. All that have suffered because of you.
Nice trick. He's not staying down. Maybe we can get some help from the inside.
Brock! Eddie! Eddie, I want to talk to you, the real Venom! Come on, Eddie. Look at what you've become. All that have suffered because of you. Come on, Eddie. You want me? I'm right here. Come get me.
Parker, I'm going to...
What? Destroy every innocent life on Earth?
I can't stop it! So tired. Help me!
Take my hand!
I can't get rid my mind, my heart. Time to die, like a man.
Well, darling, I promised you this city, and it's yours. What do you desire? We await your command, sir.
I always believed that with great power came great responsibility.
And now?
I never knew what power was.
The Tinkerer says he's ready. And our delivery boy...
Here he comes. Are you in full control?
I'm dandy.
Bring me Spider-Man, dead or alive.
I'm going with... Dead.